Why I don't trust most men in leadership positions. This is the topic of today's video. Again, it's another hot and sweaty day in summer, and I want to dive right in with you. So let's go. So if you're new here, my name is Joanna Fatonji. I am a life, brand, sales, business coach, aka leadership coach. And I have been in corporate. I studied international business. I have worked in corporate sales. I have worked in corporate finance. I have been self-employed with my own coaching agency, and I have also had my own cafe together with my mom. So I have experience in different fields, from corporate to being self-employed with a brick and mortar, and also having my own online coaching business. So today I want to talk to you about why I don't trust most male leaders. And of course, nothing is ever fully generalized, but I would say I made a few experiences that I want to share with you. One thing about me is also, I always say I'm multicultural. That's the kind of person that I am, that's the kind of life that I've lived, and I believe that that's who you are too. So when I speak about men, this time I'm not discriminating. I mean white men, I mean Muslim men, I mean black men, I mean Greek men, I mean Christian men, I mean all men, okay? Because I have experiences with all types of men. And the reason why I came up with this topic is because I've been reflecting. And as I'm saying, and as I'm also establishing myself as a leadership coach as well for women, I want to reflect on why I don't trust most male leaders. So, number one, I have dated a few. Let me come out with that as well, because I'm not only a conscious brown woman, I am also a beautiful woman that has worked in predominantly male spaces. So, the first experience I want to share with you is having worked in sales. So I have, like, just from this one job, I have so many experiences. So the first, maybe highest level of leadership that I want to shine some light on was the head of sales in one of the companies that I've worked for. That the head of sales, it was like he was quite new to this position, and it was right before our Christmas party with the company. And at the Christmas party, the head of sales of this company that I work for, like, hit on me. And he told me, like, we started playing this game. He asked me if I wanted to play a game, and we were in the middle of the dance floor. So it wasn't a creepy situation. So we were in the middle of the dance floor. He was sitting next to me, I was here, and we were surrounded literally like shoulder to shoulder with other people. So it was a safe space, right? So, but he started asking me if we wanted to play this game of truth or dare. And I said, yeah, let's play. I like to play too, right? Like, I like to play with fire, and I got burned too. So that's why I'm sharing my experiences with you. And then we were like bantering and back and forth. And fast forward, like, he then in this game back and forth, he told me, I believe he wanted to tell me all along, just cover it up in a game. He told me that he had a wife and kids and that he was happily married, but he would sometimes get a little inspiration outside of the marriage. And he was hinting at me, like, wink, wink. And I just playfully ignored it. But that's the first thing. Okay. So maybe you think, oh, that's not a big deal or whatever. But for me, that is a big deal, because you are the head of the department that I'm working for. And now at this Christmas party, you're bantering with me, kind of suggesting that you would cheat on your wife with me if I was open to it. And one thing that I learned in coaching was how you do one thing is how you do everything. So for me, that definitely lacks integrity. And for me personally, I am very, very focused on family values. I am all about the home and family. So if you as a man don't hold yourself up to the family standards, I don't trust you in nothing. So that's the first thing, okay? That was the head of the department. Same company, my personal team lead, yeah, my personal team lead, I loved him, and I still to this day, I really, really appreciated him. Like, he was a very good figure for me to expand and to cultivate my sales skills. And it was very, very high pressure. We were sitting there back to back having at least 5 1-hour calls a day, something like in a call center. But we had like video conversations with the customers. So we were a very, very tight knit team, and we were very close. And I really appreciate him. So I'm not only saying that because I want to bash men, no, but I want to give some nuance, okay? So he took beautifully care of me like the whole time I was working there. And then when I quit, he told me that, like, kind of like finally I quit because now he could tell me that he was personally interested in me. Okay, I'm not saying that to say that he actually overstepped his boundaries, because he didn't. He really didn't. But just to shine some light on male dominated fields, and then you being a beautiful woman working there, you always have to navigate yourself right. Okay, so that's just another little example. Even though he didn't overstep his boundaries, I never felt like it, and I actually really appreciated him only telling me after I quit. So I think that was high integrity. But just giving you some nuance on male leaders, male team leads, like, they will try to hit on you if they have the opportunity to. Another person from the same company, let me finish this company off. So another colleague, he was a colleague, we were not in the same team, he wasn't the head of department, but another colleague of this company, he actually asked me, like, when I quit, he asked me like what I was planning to do after this job and what I was looking into. And then he told me that he was now looking into this particular type of work, and like if we could work together, because obviously he now knew that I was good at sales, and we had a little colleague relationship. So I actually believed that he was about business. That's really my weak spot. If it's about business, I will be open to speak to you. Like, if it's about anything else, I'm not really open to speak to men like that, but I'm always open to speak about business. So and I'm outing myself here as well, I know, but I have to give you the full picture, and I want to be of integrity myself. But he actually invited me to Greece. He was half German, half Greek, and he was working in Germany while we were working together, and then he moved back to Greece, and then he started something there. So he invited me to Greece with the cover of speaking about business. And again, I believed him because I have been around wealthy men or men with money. So I didn't think of it as too much that he bought my ticket and flew me out. So I was open to it. I got flown out, and then we met, and we had like maybe 4 or 5 days together planned. And then later on he tried to sleep with me. So I also, like, I was really afraid in that moment, to be really, really honest. But this is also another lesson that I learned, that it's probably never truly about the business. So I have to be very, very strict with my boundaries because I'm still open to work with men when it's about like real estate. That's mainly what I'm interested in. So if it's about real estate, I'm open to work with men, but the boundaries have to be really, really straight. So again, he tried to sleep with me. I was very afraid, but I could handle it to have a light time until the flight back was booked. So again, from one company in sales, I had 3 encounters with men. The lead of the department, who tried to tell me that he was open to cheat on his wife with me, then my team lead, and then a colleague. So what the fuck, so this happens. I believe this happens to beautiful women in especially male dominated fields. So beware, because if you're here, I hope and I assume that you are a highly ambitious woman, and that you're probably a beautiful woman as well, and you want to create something for yourself. Okay, so Let me give you a few other examples. I can give you those experiences, and I believe that now, as I'm sharing all of my secrets, this is truly the wisdom and the value that I can give to other beautiful, ambitious women that are really about their own. And this is, I consider this feminine leadership. If you're about your business, if you're about your own life and building it something for your own, you are already a boss. You are already a sovereign feminine leader. Okay. So then the next thing is I dated, and I think I told you that on this channel as well. I dated a Michelin chef. Okay, so a chef who had a Michelin star, and he was a public figure. He was on German television and all of that. So he's a public figure. And I was never interested in him, but I had a period, and again I'm outing myself here. I had a period in my life where I was a little desperate, honestly, because my business broke apart. I was single. I didn't know what I wanted to do. And I thought this is the conditioning of society, and maybe probably also a little bit of the body, really. But this was in my, like, yeah, in my early 30s. I'm now turning 37. So I think I had a little bit of a pressure to maybe find somebody and have babies. So I was never really interested in him. Actually, I never liked him for everything that he stood for, because no, he wasn't my type of guy at all. But when I was desperate, I thought, okay, yeah, let me give him a chance. Let me date him. So we dated for a couple of weeks or months, and of course flashed all of his things. He had the Michelin star restaurant, two of them. He had, like, yeah, he has been moving in high society. He has his big Porsche, and yeah, things like that. We went out, and a little bit of that. He had this beautiful villa, and I know, and again, I have to out myself here, and I'm doing it because I am very certain that this will never happen to me again. So I dated him, and I really got to know him from up close, from near, because before I have always heard that he was really a player. It was really a player. He has been eating up the women. And later on, I think I shared that with you again, but in this little video in the series of why I don't trust male leaders, it fits again. So he has been eating up a lot of women. And later on, I found out that actually there was a group of women who came together who protested against him because they all felt sexually assaulted until grape. On television, he pretends to be this nice guy, like the nice guy from around the corner, very humble, very down to earth, very relatable. Yes, yeah, you know, that kind of personality type. And at the back, he's a quiet predator. He is. So, again, in terms of leadership, probably he doesn't necessarily call him a leader, but you are a person in the public eye. So for me, I feel like you have to have a public responsibility and not destroy a few women's lives. Okay. So that is another example that I have. And then another example that I have is with a guy who was actually, he definitely called himself a leader. He was an entrepreneur, a creative entrepreneur. And I also dated him, and he had, like, he currently, or at the time I was dating him, he built up like this community space. He built up like a co-working community space, a creative hub, like all of that. You probably know a little bit about these things. If not, I'm giving you the picture now. So he built this up, and he did a lot of events with different kinds of people, from, let's call it, roots up, right? Building and helping and supporting, and maybe even to this day, like funding, like giving support structures to creative entrepreneurs, men and women, right? And then also he was a politician, man. That's why I can't tell you, like, those kind of men, they most of them don't have any integrity, right? They will play politics, and that there's another section I'm going to share with you about that. But he also played the game on the other side, fundraising, getting probably grants from the government, and also like being on stage. He also had a TED talk, and being this public figure and speaking about community. And on the other side, on his shadow side, he was eating up women. He also even told me that he was a sex addict, right? And he has been running through women, really, like, probably he broke a lot of hearts, and maybe also had a few women, probably had abortions and things like that, mind you, while being the guy who creates a space for creatives, which I believe should come with being a safe space for multicultural, underrepresented people, right? People of the global majority, and then him being this predator. Again, I'm using that word how it's supposed to be used in this case, right? So as you see, in sales, then in my private life, but then also in my entrepreneurship bubble, I have experienced men of power who are in charge of a department, of a team, or of a community, claiming that they're leaders, but then they also pick and choose who they want to kind of, like, I don't want to use like those heavy words, right? Because I don't know, maybe in my case, I often believe, and again, it's not an excuse, but I often believe that people think because I'm a strong appearing woman that I can handle that, right? And I somehow can, but still in that situation, it's dangerous for me to be like, okay, I realize, like, you are a predator, you are a bloodsucker, you're a vampire, you're a predator, you are siphoning my energy, all of that, right? Everything that we speak about when it comes to men who siphon energy. So all of those men abuse their power. All of those men abuse their power. And that's why, again, I am very, very critical when it comes to men calling themselves leaders, especially of people, like in sales or in every head of department. You're always responsible for your people, right? But also in creative communities. And also, yes, I've never told you, no, I've told you that as well. And that's such a beautiful example in corporate, in my private life, in the entrepreneurship community, in the creative community, and also in the spiritual community. Now we have everything. I've seen it all. In the spiritual community, one of the most horrendous things that I've seen was with this very, very typical looking guru guy. He first, like, he drew me in, not on a sexual level or whatever, because he had invented like a game that was about consciousness, and the game was actually very good. And then later on, I attended another game, and then that day I discovered that he had like affairs, or he called it, and that is the whole fucking bullshit gaslighting thing that we hear about those guru types of guys, right? He said like free love, and free love is the ultimate level of consciousness. So he gave himself the permission to run through all of these vulnerable young women. And then when I heard that one of the girls, she attended this event that I attended, one of the girls that was his girlfriend, she was probably, I don't know, 30 years younger than him, a young, blonde, fragile little girl. She then broke out. Like, she was like, yeah, you motherfucker, I saw this and that, right? At the event. Oh my God, so messy. And then she said that he had a child with someone else, probably also another young girl, and he didn't really take care and responsibility for what